Problem 39 states, given the following code segment, select the appropriate output. Well, first we see we have a function that has a standard vector that is called by reference and a standard unordered map that is also called by reference, where the key is an integer and the value is also an integer. So what we are doing is we are iterating through the vector using a smart iterator. We say if the count the val is equal to 0, what we are going to do is we are going to hash that value using the unordered map and then say that as the key, and then the value is going to be 1. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to hash the value and then increment the value in that by 1. So what that means is if we have 7, 7, 2, 3, and 2, what's going to happen is the first time through, what's going to say is, well, 7's not in there, so I'm going to hash it, and 7 will be 1. Then the second time through, we're going to say, well, 7 is in there, so 7, I'm going to increment this, so this will be 7 and 2. Then we're going to say 2 is not in the hash, so I'll put 2 in there, and the value will be 1. If I have 3, 3 is not in the hash, so I put in 3, and the value will be 1. And then 2 is in there, so I increment it, and now it's 2. So that's how the hash function works there with the vector. So now let's take a look at function 2. Function 2 states that I'm going to start at the beginning and end. Iter is equal to begin, so I have begin and end. Iter plus plus. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, if the count of the iter is not equal to 0, that means it's not in the standard unordered map, then, if it's not equal to 0, that means it is in the standard unordered map. Then we iterate through its value and then print the key out. So in this case, it's iter. So if we had this before, we had 7, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 2. So we would say that the begin would be 2 and end would be 7. So then it would say, well, we start at 2, 2 is there, and then jitter is equal to 0, jitter is equal to the map iter, which is this 2, jitter plus plus. Then we'll print out iter, which is actually this 2. So it's going to do that twice, 2 and 2. Then we would say, well, 3's in there. Jitter in this case will be 1, so it'll print out iter, which is 3, and it'll do that once. 4 is not in the hash, 5 is not in the hash, 6 is not in the hash, 7 is in the hash, and jitter will now be 2, so it'll do 7 and 7. So this code is actually performing a counting sort. And so we have 4, 1, 5, 1, 7, 6, 7, 8, and 2. And so what's actually going to happen is this is actually going to sort. And so it would initially be 1 and 1, 4 and 1, 5 and 1, 1 and 2, 7 and 1, 6 and 1, 7 and 2, 8 and 1, 2 and 1. So we go through, the beginning will be 1 and the end will be 8. So to print it out, it would give us 1, 1, then 2, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7, 7, and then 8. And we see that that answer is C.